we should go back even further. Go back to like you have to hunt for your food. Like my dream in life is to get milk delivered to my house. Yeah.
Is that on your bucket list?
It's also on my grinder profile. I like fresh milk delivered.
I live in a village in India. I live in a very small village, and so we get a person who squeezes the milk out of fresh from the cow's teats, and he delivers it from house to house. So that's something we get in India.
How do you know it's actually from the cow?
Because we pay him to take it from the cow.
I want photographic evidence.
Well, it's either a cow or a buffalo. Nothing like a goat or a sheep or a donkey or a human. No, it's cow or a buffalo. That's it. But I find it really awkward that Americans have a lot of allergies, especially to nuts.
Are you trying to say Americans are weak? Yeah, it's a gene pool thing. It's kind of like if you're not exposed to it as a child, like I grew up so poor, like I was literally in the dirt. So like just eating dirt, and that I'm not allergic to anything. Feed them peanut butter in the enterofuterus when they're in the belly, just like shoot them with all the stuff. Inject it. So do you have nut allergies in like what is the reaction when you hear of nut allergies?
I just think weaklings, because like nut allergies or lactose intolerance, these are like things that are really, really new to us. Like if I see a person in India saying that I have a nut allergy or I'm lactose intolerant, we'd all be like, what alien are you? What are you doing in India? Like literally, we thrive on milk. India thrives on milk. Every dish has something related to milk in us, like milk, yogurt, butter, ghee. There's this thing called ghee in India.
It's very popular here. I have ghee.
You have ghee too? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I do. Yeah.
Looks like we've expanded.
Clarified butter, yes. Clarified butter.
Clarified butter, yeah. So it's very popular. And if someone in India says I'm lactose intolerant, again, who are you, man? What planet are you from? Do you want us to like?
Is that you talking, or the whole country is like, what? We're gonna get rid of? It's kind of like the thing is we embrace the weaknesses of our children. Like, oh, you're so weak. Oh, you're so fragile. In America,
you pamper them.
Too pampered. Yeah. How white are you?
You're asking me how white I am.
I think you come from privilege. That's why I'm asking you about your privilege.
Yeah, I mean, I do come from privilege. I like the caste or community I come from in India. We're like the white people of all Indians.
It's like me. I'm the white people of all Puerto Ricans.
Looks like we have something in common.
According to my sister, she calls me the white. Why do you want to be white? Oreo cookie is what she called me, which is offensive to me.
Oreo cookies.
White on the inside.
I know what Oreo is. We have Oreos in India, and they are fortunately cheap.
Oh, they are cheap because they're so bad for you. So, you are the smartest guy. What's your IQ?
100. 120, somewhere over there. Like I am smart. I don't want to be too smart. Like I don't want to brag I'm 150 or 170. I want to be a bit humble and say.
So you're downplaying it. Do you have friends being so smart with your big brain?
Are you saying that the friends I have are gold diggers who are just using me for my smartness so that they can pass their subjects? Is that what you're implying?
Yeah, I need you to tutor me.
I don't want to brag that I'm smart, but let's say I go to an interview for a company. If I make it at the interview, like if I'm sitting for an interview, I'm sure that I'm going to crack that interview. I'm sure I'm going to get the job.
Do you say that out loud?
Yeah, I do say that out loud, and I'm extremely proud of that. I don't regret that.
Like you people, I'm here, you're here, I got this.
When I was growing up, like all the entertainment we consume, like the movies, the actors, like our baseline, like our inspiration is Tom Cruise. That's the ideal person we wanted to be. We all wanted to be like strong like him, do action stunts like him.
And I also like Tom Cruise. I think it was when you're exposed to and you're looking at TV growing up, you're like, oh, that guy's white. I want to be white. So yeah, I want to be Tom Cruise because I saw him on the movies. But now that there's representation like Miss Marvel and other things, I'm like, maybe I don't want to be white. Maybe I want to be yellow. I'm like in the yellow shade now. That's my white.
When Miss Marvel was coming out, like when it was about to be released, people had a really negative impression, negative word of mouth when it was about to release, and I was like completely like positive that this might not be the thing I'm getting into. I see myself in that series. If not in the main character, I see myself in one of the characters of that show, and uh, I see my sisters. Like I watched Miss Marvel with my sisters. That's a great inspiration. I could see my entire family in that show. And I think that's something Hollywood is doing of late.
One of the stars, Steve Toussaint, is addressing racist comments made by some viewers about his casting.
Racist comments aimed at a black performer, and he's speaking out about the abuse and its effects on him. All those fire-breathing, air-raising, dismemberable moments on HBO's Game of Thrones prequel, House of the Dragon.
Those shipping lanes should fall. It will beggar our port.
New, like Corlys Valerian, a lead character played by Steve Toussaint, whose casting has put a micro-slice of the audience on tilt, appalled, it seems, at the sight of a black actor front and center in a fantasy drama.
This is fiction. This is a made-up world.
The British acting standout, speaking out about the invective that's targeted him, telling The Hollywood Reporter he didn't feel like his being cast was a bigger deal until I was racially abused on social media. And then I thought, okay, this means a lot to some people, but I can't allow that to bother me.
I swear this, by the old gods and the new.
Earlier this year, more of the same kind of racist claptrap aimed at actress Moses Ingram.
Where is he?
As she was featured in the Disney Plus Star Wars series Obi-Wan Kenobi. Ewan McGregor, who played the show's title character, posting support for his co-star.
We stand with Moses. We love Moses. And if you're sending her bullying messages, you're no Star Wars fan in my mind.
They are happy with a dragon flying, but a rich black guy? That's beyond the pale.
When it comes to looking at pieces of entertainment content, and all of a sudden you're seeing people who look like your neighbors or your colleagues or your coworkers in spaces where you're not accustomed to seeing them, that's a good thing because it wasn't happening before, but it's happening now, and that should be embraced.
It's really like absurd because it is a fictional series. And just for the record, just saying it on record, I've never watched Game of Thrones. So I have no idea.
Well, this is the prequel, so it's not. You can start there. A guy who I didn't know his name. Now I know his name, and he's more famous now because people bullied him on that. So well, I'm saying, please bully me as well, so people can know my name.
Done.
Hashtag bully Henry. Hashtag bully Henry.
Hashtag bully Henry.
Like, just don't look at social media and what people say. That's all I can put, because as much as we try to educate people and say, hey, don't behave like this, don't be accepting, be open, reality is it's going to take a long time for that to happen, or it might even never happen given the number of people we have and the variety of mindsets, good and bad. So it's all about trying to ignore, switch off from all of that negativity, but it's easier said than done. Like, I'm no one to really say that, because once on one of my reels, I got a bullshit comment and I deleted it. So imagine if I get hundreds of those, I'll go mad. So
we stand with Suresh.
We humans failed to see ourselves as human first. You know, we are Homo sapiens. We only have one race, Homo sapiens, right? But because of religion, because of a lot of stuff, we've been educated, or we've been indoctrinated differently. You know, you Christian, you Muslim, you this, you that, and then separation has. Then we see ourselves as certain thing. You know, I'm yellow, you're black, you're white, you're this and that, and the separation begins. And then yeah, there you go. A little bit things we say, you're racist, you're racist. Stop. These are just labels. You know, don't put meaning into that. Black means it's just a black color from my shirt. What's wrong with that? You know, like. They just, you know, they just got offended with every little thing, you know. Like people call me chick with dick. I don't even get offended with that. Because I'm not. I'm man with tits, okay?
Eddie Murphy did this one thing on Saturday Night Live where he played in whiteface. So in a future episode, the black actor should just go in whiteface and maybe get famous again.
Yeah, well, we don't choose what color our skin is when we're born. It's ridiculous, I think, all this racism that's going on. I mean, I'm not racist. I hate everybody just the same. I mean, come on.
It's sad that we're talking about racist comments in 2022. I mean, this is insane. Like, this is like 70s, 80s shit. So the fact that we're still talking about it, the way I take it is that these are just nerds and trolls who just need to get laid. I mean, they need to get laid. I think that's really the biggest thing, right? Because if you're getting laid, there's no reason for you to like put comments, and who cares who's on Game of Thrones or on Star Wars or Spider-Man or anything like that. No one cares. No one cares. So my advice would be for that actor just to send each one of those racist comments dick pics. I think that would shut them up, though, and they would never say those racist comments again. That would be my advice.
But then he's just giving away his dick pics. Like,
yeah, but now they'll never say a racist comment ever again. Now they know the outcome. So.
Or the opposite. If you send me a dick pic, I'm going to do more racist comments. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. Yes.
I got my first dick pic this year.
The idea that shows like Bridgerton is rewriting history, Hamilton did another thing. It's a trend of things. It's kind of trendy, but I think there is a fear of certain people, like, oh no, they're taking away all our whiteness. Oh no, we need more whiteness.
They took our jobs.
They're taking.
So question though. So because written, would the racist comment be better if it was in a voice, like a British voice or a country voice? Now, does it come off better now, or is it like, oh, it's not as bad now?
You know, Kevin, if it's a helium voice, I never find that offensive. I can't do a helium voice when you do suck in and you have to talk to them.
Yeah, the only thing I can do is a demon voice. Get out.
You're not gonna bite that one, okay?
Yeah,
Stay
you got
away.
it.
Swear to me, no more racism. You got that, buddy.
Yeah. I mean, Batman would have done a really great job in handling racism. Like, if instead of fighting crime, if he fought racism, no more racism at all.
Expected. People who got the best grades, the people who did the best in school.
You're saying it wrong. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
Ended up getting the best jobs as investment bankers, people who work in tech, and people who work in hedge funds.
Don't talk to me about the SEC.
What was surprising though is that the people who were the most successful were not actually the people who got the best grades. The ones that started their own successful companies, the one crypto dude that made a thing and made a lot of money, as well as the kid who ended up traveling around the world and opening up her own NGO. These people were definitely not the best students. And this kind of got me questioning, you know, what we're always told, like you should get good grades, you should do well in school, and then you will be successful. To understand why it is that these students with the best grades are not the ones that are the most successful, it's important for us to go back in time and understand the history of modern education. In fact, learning and playing were synonymous, and especially children have this natural tendency to play by learning things and exploring things. So for the hunter-gatherers, this self-directed play in combination with the knowledge and the skills that are passed on through generations in the tribe, children naturally grew into adults that contributed towards their village or their tribe by getting food, shelter, and devising ways to, in general, survive and make their lives better. But then, sometime around the agricultural revolution, this natural tendency of learning and playing and then applying the things that you learn become basically not cool. As Dr. Peter Gray says, with the rise of agriculture and later of industry, children became forced laborers. Play and exploration were suppressed. Willfulness, which had been a virtue, became a vice that had to be beaten out of children.
That just sounds like slavery with extra steps.
So yeah, ever since the Industrial Revolution, what defines a good student pretty much stayed the same as well. A good student is someone who is self-disciplined, conscientious, and can comply with the rules to get the best grades and to do like the correct extracurriculars. These students were the ones that schools encouraged and were best rewarded. But I would say since the Industrial Revolution, things have actually changed a lot. So I was curious to know what happened to these straight A students after they graduate from school. Luckily, there was this study that was done by Karen Arnolds from Boston College that studied what happens to high school valedictorians and salutatorians.
Salutatorian.
Okay, like the people who were second best. And what she found was that 94% of these students went on to college and they ended up leading the academic pack with an average GPA of 3.6, and 60% of them actually went on to receive graduate education. 90% of them are in professional careers, and 40% of them are in the highest tier jobs. As Eric Barker says in his book Barking Up the Wrong Tree, which by the way I think is like a hilarious name, so this guy has a great sense of humor, what he said, and I paraphrase a little bit, is that these students are reliable, consistent, and well-adjusted, and by all measures the majority have good lives. But how many of these #1 high school performers go on to change the world, to run the world, or impress the world? The answer seems to be clear. 0. Valedictorians don't shake up the world.
I am a student right now in college, and I see myself in that successful, like not successful category because I'm the best student in my class. So watching videos like this might, it makes me think that I'm not going to be as successful as I think it is, because just like what the video said, we are built in a way that we have to follow the rules provided by the system. We follow what our teachers say, we follow what our professors say. So when we get into a company, we are just gonna practice that, what do we call that? Practice of following others' commands. We're going to follow our superior's command, and we're going to just be in that system. We're not going to be great leaders. We're not going to start our own. We're not going to take risks. I want to highlight that. We don't want to take risks.
First, I need always to be graded on a curve. It's like, ooh, not a good tester. But once I get on board with something, like there are other parts of my brain that I can do. And one of them, I think you touched on, is being able to think outside the box, using the creativity, and she called it play. So you're learning, but you're also actively, getting your hands in there. I think that's a part of it, because if you're just cramming stuff into your head, are you really learning? There's a difference of like, I got this in my head. It's not probably not going to stay there. But the more that I use it, the more that I play with it, it's like Play-Doh.
The whole point of examination is that how much you can prepare on one night, how much you can stuff in your brain, and how much you can vomit out on the paper. And
which is a good skill. That's a good skill, but it's not a successful skill.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I was not valedictorian, but I guess I was like pretty high as far as like smart, as far as if you want to grade everybody in the class. GPA, yeah, sure. But I think like what I always think about is like so there's people who are book smart and certain people who are street smart. So I would say I was very book smart. Like I grew up kind of very book smart, but like I wasn't really street smart. I was kind of sheltered, and I think a lot of that is probably because of your upbringing with your parents, but also that could be just like what you gravitate towards and what you find more interest in. And I think that there's the people who are more street smart are the more like entrepreneur people that I think you were talking about. Because those are people who I think have a better sense of people. They're going to take more risks. They kind of are more into the world, where I think with book smart, if you're so book smart, then you're like, you know a lot of facts, but maybe you don't have that interpersonal connection though, where you would need to be a CEO or an entrepreneur or whatever. That's why there's a Steve Jobs and a Steve Wozniak though, right? Because one was street smart, one was book smart.
I read the book about Steve Jobs, the one that was written. There is a fierceness of using other people's skills. That was his almost genius of it. Is like, right. Oh, you know this? Okay, yeah, you're doing this, and getting other people to fight.
Right. But I think that's a street smart skill, though.
That's definitely
knowing that you don't have to be knowing everything. You can delegate to different people.
look outside the box and also have two people like killing each other. Steve Jobs, to quote my Jesus, is I know what's sexy before the people know it's sexy.
Yep.
That's how the iPhone was invented.
Yeah, 3-in-1 is pretty sexy. Because whenever I watch that presentation of Steve Jobs, he says we have an iPod, we have a wireless connection, we have a phone. We are not launching 3 devices. These are 3 devices in one. I remember that 3-in-1 is the real success. But Serene,
He used the rule of threes. He used the rule of threes.
What is success to you? Like if I want to be, would I need the education if I want to be a successful porn star? No, I just need the skill, right? Just do it, just good at it, and then you're a porn star. And what is actually happening? I have a video to share or thing.
And that condition was he would never pay me. He says, the moment I pay you, you think like an employee. He says, that's the trap. Entrepreneurs work for free. And now I'm 9 years old, my head's going cracking in half.
Yeah, that's it. Right. Did you know what's happening? You guys have fallen into the trap, that employee trap that the society wants you to be. You want to be rich, just get out from the trap. That's it. The school puts you into that trap. You don't know what money is all about. If you want to get out from the trap, you first have to learn what money is. Money can buy me sex. Thank you. Right, that's my time.
That should be like first grade. Here's $1. This is what you can do with $1. Before working, I wish I had learned about money.
Kevin was earlier talking about book smart and street smart, and I gotta say it's really hard to be street smart because that's what Google Maps is already. So and then there are people who are cheat smart, who are good at cheating on their exams. Yeah, so that kind of smart is also there. But I just want to say, like, as much as I agree with everyone's thoughts and perspectives, unfortunately in this day and age, like, there's still one area where you have to be like the best student or among the best students. That is, if you want a career in academia, like if you want to get, say, into a PhD program or research or all those stuff, you have to really like be among the best students with the highest scores, because without it, it's really difficult to crack. And like even getting into some of the best schools, like they still judge you on your grades, or getting into the best companies, like the top 3 consulting companies like McKinsey, BCG, Bain, they still want like really high grades. If you don't have them, even if you're like really good at other stuff, but if you don't have these grades, it sort of affects your chances, or you have to like really stand out in some other ways. So that's the reality, unfortunately, because my dad has always told me, like, Suraj, you don't have to be number 1 in your class, but always strive to be be among the best, or be among the top, but don't have to be number 1 per se. That's what my dad used to say. So
the exam system, like you mentioned, Suraj, that grades matter to get into university, but we getting that grades majorly depends on how our teachers correct our papers, and the teachers only want their terms to be in that paper. They don't want our made up answers. They don't want the concept to be in it. They just want their lines, even though they may be grammatically incorrect, and we try to correct their grammar. They don't want that. They want their incorrect grammar answers. Like they was going to the shop. They were. It's not was, it's were. Like
I was never
errors.
encouraged to study or any of that. My parents, I think they just they were set in a certain way where it's you grow up, if you're a girl, you grow up when you're a woman, and then you get married and have kids, and that's it. That's the end of your life. My mom and dad used to tell me I couldn't do anything because I was a girl. When I came over here, I got a a degree in freelance journalism, and I got a degree in business, and I have a degree in creative writing. So I was trying to prove a point, I think, to them, but really to myself, because I'm a visual learner, and I was struggling, and they didn't care. I was struggling. I was making D's and F's, and nobody cared.
And like Serene said, what is success? Success is like different for each of us. Like making that, showing that I can do this and I did this and this is where I'm at. I'm happy with what I'm doing, and showing that, I think that is in itself success. But
I was the first one in my family, entire family, to go to college. So already, well, done. I didn't even need to get an A.
Movie in Hindi called Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge. It's a really good movie. Suraj knows this reference. So in that movie, the hero, or like the main character, has a father, and the main character fails in his university examinations. The main character fails in his university examinations, and he goes to his father, and his father is so proud, because what his father says, I've never been to university. You are the first one to go to university and fail. He says, I have failed in my 10th grade, and I was the father's success. My father failed in 2nd grade, and his father never went to school. So you are by far the most successful person in our family.
Exactly. You did one step further. If when I have kids, I'm gonna be like, oh, just to fail better than I did. Just say.
So Raj and Simran's kid will be a master's fail.
Reunions put a lot of pressure on you to.
Yeah, I feel sorry for Sarut's kids, because he's like IQ of 177 and better than Einstein. He's the topper of every class. I'm like, that student, your child is gonna be like, oh.
I like the idea of failing better. In my case, it would be that I would want my kids to be autistic better than I am. I grew up in going to school, special education in the 90s, and the education system wasn't that great to begin with. By the time I got to college, I must have tried college like 4 times. I didn't see any career paths that I wanted, so I was like, maybe I'm just better off forging my own path and learning things my own way.
Like Henry, I was the first one to go to college as well in my family, and graduate. So I mean, I've exceeded those expectations, but that is like an expectation, right? So I think it's just a matter of what your goals are, right? There's certain people who want to get a Netflix special and stand up, right? That's their goal, right? Some people just want to be a professional comedian, just want to make money doing it full time. So I think it just depends on what you want to do.
I don't want to be a big comedian, professional comedian. I don't want Netflix specials. I just want to have some time, make some people laugh, just go away. That's
Don't lie, Saru. Don't lie.
How did you know? How did you know?
I just want to meet a bunch of guys and get laid. No, I'm just kidding. My fans.
You're in luck.
Yeah. But Kevin, coming back to you again, what do you get?
Ideally, it's I'm still like a software engineer or a manager, but at night I'm consistently like booked on shows or making my own shows, whatever. So it's like a side income. A stand up is like a side income thing. But I don't until like maybe a couple of years you might ask me, I might change my mind, but I don't see myself like just dedicating my whole income and my whole life just to comedy. It's too, it's not stable enough.
Too risky.
Too risky. I need stability. So
play. The key word is play. Play in the field that you want, and be not as a I have to learn this part for the test, but for life. Being able to like swim in those waters. And if I had kids right now, I would tell them, listen, learn, be good, as Suraj said, try to be up there in your skills, and also play with it. Enjoy, fail, get dirty.
Yeah. something I would add, I don't want to depress everybody, but I always think about what are they going to say at your funeral? And that's kind of what drives my life, like when I make decisions. When you die, what are they going to say?
I'm going to play Pop Goes the Weasel at yours.
So Ruth, here's my question for you: is like, so how would you define success as a person who's at the top of his genius skills?
It's really ironic that you asked me that, Henry, because I am at the point in my life where I have no idea, no clue what I have to do. I'm still like, I'm in my final year of graduation. Marrying Taylor Swift, Joe Alwyn will kill me. Joe Alwyn will kill me. But I don't have a crush on Taylor Swift.
No, Kevin does.
Rodrigo.
I do.
There's a fight. There's a fight over who likes Taylor Swift more.
Yeah.
But would you define success? I have a job, and I have someone who loves me. That's my definition of success.
People have this pressure on me that you need to know, you need to do what you're doing. Like, wake up. It's time you wake up. Wake up, Saharut. That's what people say.
That's why
I'm still in that childhood days. I'm still in my childhood sleep.
The pressure that is put on students right now is setting them up for failure. That's why I asked the question. I think it's kind of like you want to be able to say success is this, and then whatever else I get, that's gravy.
I wish I had someone to.
That's what the rich doesn't want you to know. They don't want to take the rest. So you continue being an employee. To me, thanks. So now start thinking like a rich. Where do you find them? That's why where Bill Gates tells his daughter, like when how our parents tells us, go to school, study hard, work hard, find a great job and save money. And Bill Gates tells his daughter, you have to go to school. You make a lot of friends because these are the friends you have to create job opportunity for them. They will work for you. See, so Sarut, you need to do something like, there's something that you do that it doesn't require money. Like you just wake up. Like for me, for example, now it's 4 a.m. in my time. I was just willing to wake up and do this. I don't care about the money. It's so fun to me. This is your passion. That's how your passion comes, and do it all the time. And then so one day you'll be very good at it, and you know what? Nothing could stop you. Like Mr. Bean, he's stupid. He's just playing with the brown toy, and look at who is him today.
Yeah.
He can't even pronounce his English word properly. Yeah.
That's what it all sounds like to me over here.
Yeah,
that's really good advice. Be Mr. Bean.
Yeah,
Mr. Bean.
We all the Mr. Bean here, no?
Yeah. By the way, just on a side note, I used to be called Mr. Bean when I was like in my school, because I used to be a little, like that guy. I used to be a bit stupid. People used to say, hey, he's Mr. Bean. And they meant it as an insult, but I used to take it as a compliment because I love Mr. Bean. Rowan Atkinson is like a comedic genius.
Be stupid like him. You'll be very successful. Yeah.
21 Lessons for the 21st Century highlights today's most pressing political, cultural, and economic challenges, created by technology while helping us prepare for an uncertain future. Deluged by irrelevant information, clarity is power. How do you prepare your children for the year 2050? In 21 Lessons for the 21st Century, Yuval Noah Harari helps us do just that. Whoever owns the data wins, which is why everyone struggles for it. We don't know. We just think we do, and that's a problem. Education must show us how to navigate information, not give us more of it. Which future the world progresses towards. So far, in the 21st century, technology seems to have all competitors beat. It's the thing we most believe in. With technology being our prime ideology, data becomes the most valuable asset. Harari calls the knowledge illusion. Basically, we think we know a lot more than our ancestors, when, actually, we know less in many regards. For example, we all rely on many experts to live our everyday lives. We can't hunt our own food, build our own shelter, or make our own clothes. We think we're smart, but just because we can access all the world's knowledge doesn't mean it's already in our head. School needs to start teaching us how to think, not what to think. Neil deGrasse Tyson once gave a great speech on the value of knowing how to think versus just knowing what to think. Sadly, our schools only teach us the latter. Even higher education still very much centers around cramming as many facts into your head as you can, only to spit them out once on a piece of paper, then forget them again. That's the problem. A basic understanding of history, biology, math, and other subjects is important, no doubt, but beyond that, it's more important that we learn how to navigate the modern sea of information, how to filter out the important, and how to determine what's downright false.
Why humans are the I guess the dominant race, the dominant species in the planet is because of stories.
Yes.
A monkey
yes.
and an animal can tell stories. The reason that we can be, I guess, considered slightly superior over other species and animals.
Lee Child, he's the one who wrote Jack Reacher books, the action
Yeah,
adventure
I'm familiar.
fiction
He's
books.
only the best-selling author. Yes, I've heard.
Yeah, he's one. And he wrote this non-fiction book, his first ever non-fiction book called The Hero. The book title is The Hero, and it talks about how we as humans from our past always like telling stories, and stories are the reason why we have survived throughout generations. It is the reason why Homo sapiens survived than Homo neanderthals.
In the future, we will plant microchip into our mind, so we no longer need to do mathematics. As long as our eye sees 2 + 2, the microchip will start working and do the maths for us. So we and what machine will combine, and for a long period of time, the machine will gain our data, it will read us, it will learn us. We will die off. When I learn a skill of, let's say, repairing cars, I can learn a certain years. Then when I die, that's it. The machine continues learning, continues dating data. So it will be a very powerful machine. So it will born of the AI. That was the future of our generation. But what I want to say is, stop worrying about the future of mankind, where your future is not even determined yet.
Yeah.
Right? You've determined your own future first. Like I would say that. And yeah, like the mind is everything. What we think we become.
One of my favorite quotes is, we don't know what happens tomorrow, but we still set an alarm clock to wake up on time the next day. I think that's what I like about humans. We don't know if there is going to be a tomorrow, but we have that hope that we should wake up on time the next day.
That's an employee, Sarut. You make sure your staff set the alarm. You don't.
Serene's thought here that in future we may have like a chip or a processor in our mind to be able to do all the stuff and calculate, brain work, which means essentially everyone can become the best student.
So I'm a software engineer, so maybe I'm like a little bit biased to it, but I like the idea of I'm a corporate slave, Serene. So I like the idea of having technology, and we keep pushing it though. Like, okay, I keep a job though, and that only makes my skill a lot more valuable as we use more technology, right? So, the data thing is very interesting because I don't even think Mark Zuckerberg owns this. I think it's more like the CEO of Google. I think Google knows so much about it, and honestly, Amazon knows so much about me too. So I think with Facebook, a lot of people say they don't even use Facebook. So that's social media. There's a lot of people who are not on social media. So I don't know how Mark Zuckerberg would get that data. The second thing is the knowledge thing is very interesting because I think I always like to just consume a bunch of knowledge and just make my own decision. But there's a lot of people who are regurgitating exactly what CNN is saying, or exactly what Fox News is saying, or exactly what their bubble is saying, and that goes into the whole idea of technology too, because with Facebook and Twitter and all these other social media apps, they kind of tunnel you into different pipelines, right? And so there's a lot of people who are getting information based on their friends, but based on things that they think that they like, or they think that they're interested in, and so they're not really widening the scope of different people who disagree with them. So we're going into these pipelines where we don't like people who disagree with us.
The idea of reality is changing too. Sort of like what my reality is so different from the person just 2 feet away from me.
There'll be a way where technology will wipe will find a way to implant chips in all of us and systematically wipe out the problematic people, like the worst of the big corporations and stuff, the people that are part of these big corporations and things of that nature.
How would you determine the worst though? Because everyone's gonna have their own opinion of what they think the worst people are though.
It would be a flawed system to be sure.
I like the title "Eat the Rich." Just like get rid of the. If you have this amount of money, you shouldn't be here.
Let's say Amazon owns all of us. Let's say in the future, Amazon owns all of us. There are microchips inside everyone. And let's say I did not buy my underwear from Amazon. I buy it physically from a store that does not sell to Amazon. Amazon's going to get super offended and they're going to set a bomb in me. That could be really possible.
Yeah, it will be delivered to you,
Just remember to wear pants when you answer the door.
It would be an Amazon drone strike. So an Amazon drone just comes in and attacks.
Yeah. That's high-tech shit, yeah.
I'm definitely going to be the first one to go in this scenario since I figured out how to cancel my Amazon membership.
So I watched a show, I stopped watching it, The Walking Dead, where people, like half the society is zombies. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
And half the society is like, who do you want on your team? The survivors. I don't want someone who's kind of just tied to the other video, who's the best student. I want someone who's scrappy, who can actually, the boxer, the cop. I wouldn't. Who's the Daryl is the guy there? Like he was like a guy, one of the characters who he wasn't smart. He would talk like this, and he was just like he's a fighter. Daryl on The Walking Dead. You know who that is?
Yeah, he's good looking.
Oh yeah, that too. You want somebody good looking, but also a scrappy. Gonna get there and get in the swamp.
Finally, here I face punched that idiot called Saharud, and I'm here.
Why do you sound like Batman?
Cancel Cop is the original guy. Batman is the ripoff. When we have the chip, it's also possible, like what Scorpion mentioned. You could be a reanimated corpse without any thinking potential. You're just a corpse that walks, controlled by the corporates to do their bidding. People being remote controlled by their chips and just walking uncancelled, trying to cancel others. That would be a really great show.
Looking at ahead, AI, artificial intelligence, is going to be able to create consciousness. And that is, if you can take human consciousness combined with AI, you're talking about now the opposite of depopulation. You're creating a new species.
We're talking about Walking Dead before. I think that our future is more like Black Mirror. Have you ever seen Black Mirror like that? If you're scared about the future, like Black Mirror is definitely, some things have already happened though.
Before I go on and cancel others, I want to say, dream isn't something that you see when you sleep. Dream is something that doesn't let you sleep.
That's a nightmare.
What?
Oh my gosh.
That's too deep. That's a nightmare.
Then what's going on with me? I have insomnia. I have not slept for 2 days.
Dream as in the sleepy dream, and dream as in our goals and dreams. That dream.
In a commodity of data where I do go to rely so much on Google, I want to be able to say, okay, I have a thought and celebrate that. Good for you. Good for you.
I have a journal that I keep everything in. I write my dreams down. I read in a book one time that you dream 3 to 100 dreams a night, but you can only remember 1 to 3.
We think we know more than we do, which is dangerous. To walk into a room and say, I know more than everyone here, then you're not listening to your fellow citizen.
And that's what a lot of best students think they are. They think, best, again I say best students, they think they know more than everybody in the room, and that is dangerous. That's the connection I can put on from the first topic to the second topic.
Yeah.
Clarity to me is, I know how this works. And I think when you do know how it's works, you should tell other people. The secret is not the data, it's how do you connect the data. The secret is not how you're told to think, how to think for yourself. Teach a boy to fish and he'll eat for the rest of his life. Give a boy a fish. I just flipped it around. I don't know what I'm talking about.
A best student would say that quote in the right direction, but a successful student would say the quote in their own direction.
Yeah, my favorite quote, to quote the best, I don't even know who said it, break some balls. Whatever that means to you, break some balls means just like break some eggs, just do stuff. And
Break
it doesn't
some
always have
literal
to
balls.
little well, you said your Sarut is not R-rated. That's what you said.
Sarut does not swear. Sarut does not swear, but
exactly, yes.
He has a dirty mind. He does not swear. That's the only thing. Cancel Cop does not have a dirty mind, but Sarut does. But Henry, I want to conclude with this. Don't live a life of fear. Live a life to live. Don't live fearing. Don't live to fear. Just live when you want. That's it.
To quote the great Kevin Carrier, think about what people will say at your funeral. That's it. All right. Hangover Podcast. Hangover Comedy.